Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining our special edition Super Bowl 55 post-game coverage right here on WNCT.com. I'm your host, Kelsey O'Donnell, joining from inside the digital studio. Just moments ago, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wrapped up Super Bowl 55. And to break down the fun, we're bringing in Nolan Knight here, our sports anchor and reporter. Nolan, thanks for joining us.
Hey, how exciting. We got a Super Bowl. We got through it after a long year. I didn't know if we would even get to this point, but there it was, Super Bowl 55. How exciting and what a surprise.
It is a surprise. And, looking back to week one, who would have thought we would have made it all the way to a Super Bowl this year with all of the COVID protocols going on, but a really special Super Bowl this year, having honored a lot of the healthcare workers as well.
Yeah, and it created a pretty cool atmosphere to actually have fans in the stands, which is, I think we've all kind of gotten used to not having anyone in the stands. Towards the end of the season, we kind of started to see it a little more and more. Kansas City was able to have a lot of fans in their stands. Buffalo, towards the end of their year, they got to have some as well. But to have, the stands filled tonight with healthcare workers, it created a better atmosphere than if it was empty with just cardboard cutouts, which we have all seen over and over again. I think we were tired of that. So to actually have people in the stands for a big game, football is nothing without the fans. So to finally have some, that was great.
Sure, and looking at the stadium itself, Raymond James Stadium, it looked pretty full. So I saw a few tweets out there and people almost thought that it was full, but really there was a ton of those cardboard cutouts. But getting into the game itself, wow. So I guess we got to toot our own horn a little bit. All three of our sports staff, members on sports staff here, had picked the Bucs to win.
And not just to cover the three, but to win the game. We were all confident, I think, by a mean score of by winning by 5. So we were all pretty confident, and not to say we told you so, but we told you so.
It was an interesting game. Definitely, the turnout I had hoped, but looking at the game itself, I didn't expect the final score to be 31-9. So the Bucs
31-9, yeah, there
yes. The Bucs came out on top 31-9. First quarter, Bucs went up 7-3, thanks to Gronk, Brady and Gronk connection, the former Patriot teammates there. But just watching the first half, 8 penalties for 95 yards on the Chiefs, I think that was a game changer.
Yeah, that's especially the way the Chiefs play. A lot of the storylines coming into the game, there were a lot of things. One of those, how good the Chiefs are offensively. Almost everyone was saying that the points total is going to go over. There's going to be a lot of points. The Chiefs' offense is unstoppable. Tyreek Hill, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Mecole Hardman kind of broke out towards the end of the season as well. Patrick Mahomes. You had all the names. Travis Kelce. And it's going to be high-flying. Can the Tampa Bay Buccaneers keep up? Well, guess what? Because of the slow start with the penalties, some of them are questionable. Some of them, I think, if you are a Chiefs fan, there's some right if you want to say that, maybe that shouldn't have been called. There were a couple that way, but a couple of them were penalties. And then when you play aggressive, if the referees are going to call a close game, they're going to call a close game. And that's what ended up happening. And when you have a slow start like that, the Chiefs, they're not normally always, off to slow starts. Normally, a lot of times this season is they would jump out to big leads and then they would give up their big lead late during the season. Normally they're out in control and can kind of do what they want, but that wasn't the case today, mainly because on offense they couldn't get it done, more so than maybe so the defense.
Sure, and it was a little bit frustrating, watching Patrick Mahomes. Bucs were up 21-6 at the half. Tom Brady absolutely doing his thing, showing why he is the GOAT. He won his 7th Super Bowl. This is his 10th Super Bowl appearance. I am excited for him. I wouldn't say I'm a huge Brady follower, but I am excited, and I love to be able to witness history being written.
It's fun to watch greatness. When it's right in front of you, and sometimes you realize too late what you're seeing. But I think everyone is aware of what we are witnessing in the NFL with Tom Brady.
Yes, so we didn't get to catch the post-game ceremony, but I am assuming he may have won MVP. I don't know the official statement yet. I don't know if you've heard it all, any of the word out there. So maybe we can check on that later on. But second half, wasn't too much action. Same thing with the Chiefs coming in. Final score was 31-9.
Yeah, it was. I think to break down this game, you have to talk about the storylines heading into the game. The big thing that you got to key on this, and the big thing was the Tampa Bay offense was going to have to keep up with the Kansas City Chiefs, that they're going to go high flying. They have the fastest team in the league. You can't even build a defense that can defend it. That's what everyone was telling you. And so for the Chiefs, their strongest points was their offense and their offense. And coming into the week, some of the big storylines was the fact that they were without some of their offensive linemen. And when you talk about the Tampa Bay storylines, the biggest storylines were if they had to throw the ball, they would struggle. That wasn't the case at all. They got it done on the offensive line. They were really able to do what they wanted on the ground, which opened up so many passing lanes for Tom Brady. And he picked and popped each open spot to work his team down the field. And then you look at the defensive line and the defense for Tampa Bay. They absolutely dominated the Kansas City offense. We're talking about one of the best offenses that have been put together in recent history. And they didn't get in the end zone. Not once the whole night. Just 3 field goals is the only time they scored tonight. Mm-hmm. The Tampa Bay defense was incredible. Tom Brady will probably get Super Bowl MVP, but a lot of that award should go to the Tampa Bay defense. Patrick Mahomes on every play, the second he got the ball, was scrambling for the entire play, just throwing prayers up into the air to hope that somebody would help him out, and he didn't get the help. The Tampa Bay defense was incredible, and I think that will be the biggest takeaway, that if you put together a team that is defensively strong and doesn't turn the ball over on offense, you can win a Super Bowl, and that's exactly what we saw this year.
Sure, and I did just get word that Tom Brady is the Super Bowl MVP this year. Thanks to our news director, Bernie Ritter, watching behind the scenes. You're the real MVP as well, giving us the details. But Tom Brady, man, 7 Super Bowls. You think those hands are getting heavy holding up those rings?
No kidding. He's going to fill up the whole hand.
I know. So I do think another really cool thing, Tampa Bay became the first ever team to play in the Super Bowl in their home stadium and win. Yeah. So really big things for Tampa Bay. I want to show you a live look. This is downtown Tampa, a tower cam down there, just a beautiful sight. You don't see any fans out there, but Tampa bringing home, there you go. There's a couple of other shots up in there. But really exciting things going on down in Tampa, and we are happy to be able to cover it on WNCT. Brian Bailey will have the official game highlights coming up at WNCT during our sportscast at 11. But talking a little bit about the fan coverage, you were out and about in Greenville covering a little bit of what fans were doing. What did you see out there?
I was a little surprised. Maybe I should have not have been surprised, but the bars weren't that crowded at all. Maybe some that I didn't go to were. But I checked out Carolina Ale House. There were people there, probably more so than would be on a Sunday afternoon in February when the weather's not great outside. But for the circumstances, with it being Super Bowl Sunday, I think normally you would just see it packed everywhere. You couldn't get a table, but everywhere I went, it seemed like there was open space, definitely following the 50% capacity rule, to say the least. So there wasn't that many people out and about, although both places did mention that they had more takeout orders than they ever had. So I think a lot of the Super Bowl parties were at home with people trying to stay around the people that they're normally around.
Right, and it was cool to look at that. I did a few pregame preparations for the Super Bowl, and a lot of food delivery places were saying that they were already starting to see an uptick.
We had a good spread here, so I mean, it would have taken a while to get all the food that we got.
If you would like to see that food, go ahead over to my Instagram. I've got that on my story. We got some wings, so
best part of the
night. Taken care of, yeah.
If you don't like football, then you like food. And
I know, eating is the best part. Come on. So I do want to make a quick note. Some of these prop bets. The national anthem did go over I believe, is it a 2-minute?
I saw 2:17 one place. I saw somewhere else it was 2:22, and the original line was set around 2. So that went way over. I think the coin toss was heads.
Got that one right. I
did not get that one right.
We did our own little prop bets during our podcast. So if you guys haven't heard that, go ahead and check that out. We made our official bets, what we were thinking, and coin toss is one of them. National anthem. Gatorade shower was blue. I believe I was wrong on that. That one threw a wrench
in for everybody. I don't think anyone was expecting blue.
I know, but this will pretty much wrap up our Super Bowl 55 coverage. Again, congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are your Super Bowl 55 champions. 31-9 was that final. Nolan Knight, any final words before we head out for the night?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that I take away from this is, how excited we all were when we found out there was going to be a football season.
Sure.
And then all of that coming together, and there were a couple of games where you were surprised that they play. You think back to the Wake Forest quarterback that got in for the Broncos as he was a reserve wide receiver, and he played quarterback. That'll go down as history as probably the strangest game when this is all said and done. But a game wasn't missed. They were all played. We got to the Super Bowl. We had fans in the stands. We got in what was at times a boring Super Bowl tonight, but a historic victory for Tom Brady at 43 years old in his 10th Super Bowl, gets his 7th ring. It's history in front of our eyes. And I'm tired of seeing him in the Super Bowl, but every year he surprised me, and what a great. It's hard to be a sports fan and not be romantic about the Super Bowl.
I love it. I know this outside of Tom Brady, there still was other history. Gronk came out of retirement and won a Super Bowl.
To talk more about the Tampa Bay team, they were a team of misfit toys. You look at the defense for Tampa Bay. Jason Pierre-Paul is only playing with 8 fingers out there. They picked up Leonard Fournette. Nobody wanted him. He was a huge player tonight. And Rob Gronkowski came out of retirement. Tom Brady's 43 years old. This team, granted, they had some great weapons with Chris Godwin and Mike Evans before this season, but Bruce Arians put them all together, a Hokie, by the way, and they won a Super Bowl.
He also became the oldest coach to win a Super Bowl tonight.
And he was pretty excited. He was in tears tonight. Good for him. Andy Reid, everyone was so pumped up for Andy Reid to get his Super Bowl the year before last year, because he's the lovable head coach. And Bruce Arians was probably second in line to him. He's known for being a huge players coach, and so I think everyone around the league is not upset that Bruce Arians got himself a Super Bowl ring.
It was a fun night to watch. I'm looking forward to Super Bowl 56 already. So
yeah, me too.
This will wrap up our Super Bowl 55 coverage. Thanks so much for tuning in, and be sure to catch the official game highlights with Brian Bailey coming up this evening in our newscast at 11. Thanks for watching.